Martin Luther King Jr. rightly said, our very survival depends on our ability to adjust to new ideas, to remain vigilant, and to face the challenge of change. The National Peace Movement was a proactive response to challenges such as increasing violence, corruption, racism, discrimination, atrocities against the weak, and many more. Since its inception in 2015, every year the Peace Convention is inaugurated on the 30th of January to honor Mahatma Gandhi, who was assassinated on this very day for peace and harmony among all castes, creeds, and races. Pandemic COVID-19 brought with it unparalleled chaos and crisis. It led to a lot of changes in our routine, and technology played a major role in keeping us connected. And hence, accepting this new normal as better normal, here we are today on this online platform, being a part of the 7th National and the first Global Peace Convention. It is said, if you are a stranger to prayer, you are a stranger to the greatest source of power known to human beings. On that note, let us begin this inauguration ceremony with an interreligious prayer for world peace, led by Dr. Paul Puvathingal and team. Dr. Paul Puvathingal holds a doctorate in Carnatic music. He is the disciple of the legendary Carnatic musician and playback singer Padma Bhushan K.J. Yesudas. He has performed classical music before APJ Abdul Kalam, President of India, and before Bharat Ratna M.S. Subbulakshmi. At present, he is the director of Chetana Music College, Thrissur, Kerala. We cordially welcome you, Dr. Paul Puvathingal and team, to lead the prayer for peace.
नानक ईसा तेरी शान, महावीर गौतम तेरी आन। नानक ईसा तेरी शान, महावीर गौतम तेरी आन। जय 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 हो तेरी जय हो, भारत माँ तेरी जय जय जय। जय हो भारत माँ की, भारत माँ की जय जय जय। जय हो धर्मराज की, धर्मराज की जय जय जय। संतों की जननी जय हो, ऋषियों की जननी जय हो। जय हो भारत माँ की, भारत माँ की जय जय जय।
We shall now listen to a reading from the Hindu scriptures, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. He is the source of light in all luminous objects. He is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. He is knowledge. He is the object of knowledge and he is the goal of knowledge. He is situated in everyone's heart. We shall now listen to a reading from the sacred scriptures of the Sikh religion, the Guru Granth Sahib.
There is one God, his name is Truth. He is the creator. He is without fear and without hate. He is beyond time, immortal. His spirit pervades the universe. By the Guru's grace, you shall worship him.
We shall now hear a song on peace and communal harmony by Dr. Paul.
सपना है मेरा, एक रहे देश हमारा। महान है भारत हमारा, गूंज उठे प्रेम का नारा। एक सपना है मेरा, एक रहे देश हमारा। महान है भारत हमारा, गूंज उठे प्रेम का नारा। एक सपना है मेरा। मिट जाए दीवारें, मिल जाए मानवता की। गीत गाए सब मिलकर, जीत होगी मानवता की। एक सपना है मेरा, साथ रहेंगे हिंदू मुस्लिम, साथ मरेंगे देश की खातिर। साथ रहेंगे हिंदू मुस्लिम, साथ मरेंगे देश की खातिर। देश प्रेम निशान हमारा, भाईचारा मशाल हमारा। देश प्रेम निशान हमारा, भाईचारा मशाल हमारा। एक सपना है मेरा, एक रहे देश हमारा। महान है भारत हमारा, गूंज उठे प्रेम का नारा। एक सपना है मेरा, एक रहे देश हमारा। महान है भारत हमारा, गूंज उठे प्रेम का नारा। एक सपना है मेरा।
We shall now listen to a reading from the Buddhist scriptures, the Dhammapad.
He who speaks words that are peaceful, useful, and true, words that offend no one, him I call a Brahmin.
We shall now listen to a reading from the Holy Scriptures of Islam, the Holy Quran.
By the epoch, humanity is indeed at a loss, except those who have faith and do good works and enjoin truth and justice upon one another and enjoin patience upon one another.
We shall now listen to a reading from the Christian scriptures, the Holy Bible. You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, do not resist one who is evil. But if anyone strikes you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. And if anyone would sue you and take your coat, let him have your cloak as well. And if anyone forces you to go 1 mile, to him with 2 miles. May I now request you all to close your eyes and pray for world peace.
लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति 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 आयुरारोग्य सौख्यं शान्ति 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 शान्ति
I now invite Rotarian C.L. Vakde, the treasurer of National Peace Movement, to say the four-way test, the foundation of Rotary way of life. Over to you, sir.
The four-way test of the things we think, say or do. चतुर्विध परीक्षण मंत्र किसी भी कार्य को विचारने, कहने या करने से पूर्व यह परीक्षण करना चाहिए. Is it the truth? क्या यह सत्य है? Is it fair to all concerned? क्या यह सबके लिए उचित है? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? क्या इससे सद्भाव और सम्मैत्री निर्मित होगी? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? क्या यह सबके लिए हितप्रद होगा? Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for reminding us all on the strong foundation of the Rotary way of life. We now invite Rotarian Father Verghese Alangarden for the welcome address. Rotarian Verghese Alangarden is the founder and national coordinator of Universal Solidarity Movement Indore and the moving spirit behind the National Peace Movement and organizing National Peace Convention since 2015. He is a versatile author and a motivational speaker. He has written more than 30 books and hundreds of articles in various publications. He conducts seminars for parents, teachers, and heads of organizations throughout the country. As the president of the National Peace Movement, he has left no stone unturned in making the 7th National Peace Convention a unique and memorable event as the first Global Peace Convention. We cordially invite you, Rotarian Father Verghese, to extend a warm welcome to the distinguished speakers and all the participants and explain the purpose and dynamics of this convention. Over to you, Father.
Good evening, my dear friends. Honorable Rotarian Shekhar Mehta, Rotary International President-elect, Mrs. Anuradha Shankar, IPS, Additional Director General of Police, Madhya Pradesh, Rotarian Dr. Gajendra Singh Narang, District Governor, District 3040, Mrs. Lavina Dsouza, New Jersey, USA, Professor Dr. Obiora, IK, Executive Director, Globetic, Geneva, Switzerland, Rotarian Dr. Sangeeta Jain, Secretary, National Peace Movement, all of the distinguished speakers and delegates of the 7th National and the first Global Peace Convention, the entire team of National Peace Movement, and the members of Rotary Club of Indore, Malvika. I express my joy in welcoming you all to this peace convention and thank each one of you for joining from all parts of India and around the world. By converting this event from national to a global peace convention, you have made it a historical gathering. The fruit of this convention and its action plans will set the process for a greater things to happen in the days to come. Thank you for your choice to be part of this global peace convention. All of you, my dear speakers and participants, you are very privileged because you have responded to the call of God for a sacred mission, which is the urgent need of today in a fragmented world. You are here with a great concern for the global family of 7.7 billion people. Since 2015, we had been organizing National Peace Convention every year in different cities of India. From 30th January to 1st February, though initially started as an exclusive Rotary project to promote its first major focus area of peace and conflict prevention and resolution, it was converted into a national peace movement by the participants of the first National Peace Convention at Indore. As a parent body, Rotary District 3040 worked in close collaboration in organizing national peace conventions every year. This was followed up by many activities to promote peace in different parts of this large country. Pandemic COVID-19, which has adversely affected the whole world, happened to be a blessing in a disguise. As we decided to hold the 7th National Peace Convention virtually, the committee members asked themselves the question with the possibility thinking, today, we have made it a reality. Now we have speakers and participants from 20 countries of 4 continents. From its inception, the organizers had chosen 30th January as the inauguration of the Peace Convention. This is to honor Mahatma Gandhi, who sacrificed his life on this day for peace and harmony among people of all caste, creed, and race. Returning to the way of Gandhi is a solution to all our problems. Every year, the concluding of the Peace Convention takes place on 1st February. Friends, permanent peace with a conflict-free world is possible only when each one of us will take charge of the responsibility of building peace in our heart, in our family, and in our society. As it is told that wars begin in the minds of people, peace also is to be established in the hearts and minds of individuals. The increasing number of conflicts in the name of religion, race, and other issues call us to act in our personal capacity and as a group. We shall not wait for a Messiah from heaven to bring peace. We shall not wait for the governments to bring peace. We shall not wait for large crowds to bring peace. We shall not wait for anyone from outside to bring peace to us. When each one of us, my dear friends, personally adopt a way of life to forgive, forget, and move on, we shall experience peace. When we abandon all kinds of prejudice and accept, appreciate, and promote diversity, we shall experience genuine peace. When we recognize God in every human being and honor all human beings with all their diversity, we shall experience peace within and establish peace around us. Let us put into practice, friends, what Mahatma Gandhi said. You be the change that you want to see in the world. This spirituality of self-transformation is the first step to transform the world, to make this world a world of peace and friendship. Let us light a candle instead of cursing the darkness. Let peace come forth from each one of us in our thoughts, in our words, and in our actions. As we have experienced during the previous convention, this gathering aims at inspiring all participants that they go back and make concrete action programs to transform themselves and then work to transform the society. This is possible when you make this convention an opportunity for reflection and draw out action plans. I want to make a special word of welcome to all the young people who have made an option to be part of this Global Peace Convention. The young Peace Club members from different parts of India will be presenting many songs and dances based on the theme of peace and diversity of our culture during the sessions. Your presence, young friends, is very symbolic and significant because you are the one who should act as a catalyst of change. And then that's why the first panel session at 10 in the morning tomorrow starts with you with the theme, Youth for Peace. Friends, we will hear the vibrant voice of the youth in that session. The second panel is on peace education for a civilization of love. In this panel, we have speakers from 4 different countries. The third panel at 4:30 in the evening tomorrow will be in Hindi with a very important theme, preserving the heritage of pluralism, unity in diversity. The fourth panel at 6:30 p.m. will be led by professionals with vast experience on the theme peace and development. Before I conclude, I wish to give a few practical tips to draw the best out of this convention. You know well, in the past when we traveled to distant places to participate in the previous conventions, we never missed any sessions. All of us were very punctual for every session which was held in an auditorium. Now, as we are sitting in the comfort of our homes and attend these sessions, we may have a little temptation to take them for granted and miss the seriousness of the sessions such as joining late, leave the meeting in between. May I suggest each one of you, friends, to practice a little self-discipline and participate in all sessions fully, as if you are on a pilgrimage, a peace pilgrimage. You will surely enrich fully from this event only when you participate fully in all the sessions. As an example, I want to mention about one of the participants who is here in this meeting, Mr. Deepak Chaudhary, an industrialist from Gandhidham, Gujarat, who said to his staff as soon as he registered a month ago to join this peace convention, I would not be available from 30th January to 1st February, because he wanted to attend all the sessions without any interruption. Thank you, Mr. Deepak, for your presence. As you participate in each session, take time to reflect and make your own action plans, which you can propose to be incorporated into the common action plan on February 1st, from 11 to 1 p.m., 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Our future activities will depend on your creative suggestions. Discussions will take place in different groups, such as Rotarians, youth, educationists, social workers, etc. Please don't miss this important session. Proposals and opinions of each one of you are very, very important. We have a variety of speakers, young and old, from India and other countries, leaders of Rotary International, educationists and professionals. We shall listen to everyone with interest. This is a unique program where you will have a variety of speakers with a variety of experience. You will be able to listen, which is very rare. We shall conclude the convention on 1st February with the enlightening addresses of many eminent speakers. So please don't miss any session. You know, it has been our tradition. We start the program on time. We will end the sessions also on time. So please don't miss by coming late. Wish you a very enriching experience. Friends, stay connected. Long live peace and universal solidarity. Jai Rotary, Jai Jagat. Thank you.
Thank you, Rotarian Father Varghese, for the warm words of welcome and also for briefing us with the purpose and dynamics of this convention. Music is a universal language. And now I invite the young members of the Aspire to Inspire family from Rourkela, Odisha, for the Rotary song, which speaks of the global vision and spirituality of Rotary International. They have been active participants in all the previous peace conventions.
our best. We hold for wars, the world is mad. To love and serve so few, it's sad. Who serves above self, our motto great, shall conquer the world before it is late. World understanding and peace shall reign.
Through Rotary in the world again.
Through Rotary in the world again. The banner of love and friendship bright shall flap its wings in colors bright. The nation shall in love unite and serve the poor with no war to fight. Who serves above self, our motto great, shall conquer the world before it is late. World understanding and peace shall reign.
Through Rotary in the world again.
Through Rotary in the world again. Our Father dear, Almighty God, let's live in peace and serve you, Lord. You shower on us your grace from above to help us all to live in love. Who serves above self, our motto great, shall conquer the world before it is late. World understanding and peace shall reign.
Through Rotary in the world again.
Through Rotary in the world again. Through Rotary in the world again.
Good evening, friends. On behalf of District 3040, I would like to welcome Shekhar Mehta ji. He has joined us. So I would like to ask the Master of Ceremony to straight away spotlight, make him on spotlight and do the honors. Thank you.
Before we invite Rotarian Shekhar Mehta, I would like to call upon Rotarian Colonel Mahendra Mishra to introduce him. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Well, service is the rent that we pay for the space we occupy on this earth, says Shekhar Mehta. Well, I am team member of Shekhar and Movers, and now a mover is going to introduce Shekhar. So, good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and dear youngsters. I am Colonel Mahendra Mishra, District Governor-elect, District 3040, and will introduce before you the one and only Rotary International President-elect Shekhar Mehta. Shekhar Mehta, a member of Rotary Club Mahanagar, Kolkata, is the only fourth Indian in 116 years to be nominated as President of Rotary International for the year 2021-22. An accountant by profession, He heads the Skyline Group engaged in real estate development in different parts of India. He is a member of many professional, cultural, and charitable organizations. He is a serving trustee of Shelter Box, UK, and Operation Eyesight India, a Canada-based organization. Shekhar Mehta joined Rotary in 1985 and has been chairman of Strategic Planning Committee of Rotary International, Rotary India Literacy Mission, Rotary India Centennial Celebration, Rotary India Humanity Foundation. He served as district governor in 1999-2000 and was elevated to the board of directors, Rotary International, for the year 2011-13. While serving as Rotary International Director, he helped Rotary add 2 countries, that is Bhutan and Maldives, to the fold. Keenly dedicated to the service, Shekhar Mehta has led many major service initiatives in India. Some significant initiatives are constructing 500 homes for tsunami survivors at Andaman and Nicobar Islands, starting the shelter kit program in India, which has served about 20 disasters, distributing more than 15,000 shelter kits, helping about 75,000 disaster victims. He started the Healing Link Heart program. Through this, he has got done more than 500 heart surgeries for children from across India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, and other countries. Conceptualizing nationwide TEACH, a literacy program in India, having reached out to more than 50,000 schools and 15 million children. He has been instrumental in setting up 15 eye hospitals across India, serving nearly 50,000 eye operations each year. Responding to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's national call, he has helped set up 6,000 rural toilets, benefiting 30,000 people. Shekhar Mehta, a motivational speaker, he has spoken at hundreds of events nationally and internationally. His motivational skill are par excellence, which has helped raise millions of dollars for the Rotary Foundation. Shekhar Mehta is a recipient of highest awards of Rotary International and the Rotary Foundation, that is Service Above Self Award, the Meritorious Service Award, Distinguished Service Award. He is married to Rashi Mehta. She is a social worker and a stage artist. Both of them are major donors and members of Biggest Society. With this, ladies and gentlemen, I come to the end of very brief introduction of our Rotary International President-elect, Shekhar Mehta. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I now invite our chief guest, Rotarian Shekhar Mehta, to address the audience.
Good day to everyone. As I see participants from across the world, I'm so happy to be present at this first global convention and the 7th National Peace Convention. My compliments and congratulations to Gajendra Narang for organizing this convention. Gajendra, you are amongst the more dynamic leaders of this year. I've seen you in action. बड़े passion से तुम Rotary करते हो, and which is so very nice. Rotary is all about passion, sincerity, courage, and you show all of these things in trying to help mankind. So my compliments to you, not only for organizing this convention, but for all the work that you keep doing.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Colonel Mahendra Mishra, for introducing me. Introduction coming from a team member, in the sense that you and I will be a part of a team which will be trying to do some good in this world in the forthcoming year. Father Varghese, good to hear you, good to see you. I heard part of your lecture and you said so very well. Such wonderful things we heard from you. Friends, it's an extremely important topic that Gajendra you have chosen. Peace in today's time is something which is becoming a little elusive. Around the world, the entire world is not at peace. Some because there is strife, there are wars. Some because there is tremendous displacement. Some because there is no peace in their life despite there being no war. And Rotary's DNA is about bringing peace in the world. Whether it is our object, whether it is our ethos, whether it is our core value, we are strongly bound to the fact that we want to bring goodwill, understanding, and peace in this world. So it's very commendable that we keep discussing peace. I tell you, in the last 10 days, probably this is my fifth meeting just on the subject of peace, which shows how concerned people are about peace. There was a podcast a few days back which was on peace. Again, 2 days back, I was on a subject which was totally dedicated to peace. And I have been recently in interaction with so many people, listening to their views of peace. But I strongly feel if there are some organizations in this world which can actually bring peace, it is organizations like Rotary. Because Rotary strongly believes that mere absence of war is not peace in this world. A world half hungry is not at peace. A world half unhealthy is not a world at peace. A world half homeless is not a world at peace. So peace comes when we try to bring homes for the homeless, food for the hungry, eyes for the sightless. When we mend those little broken hearts by doing heart surgeries for them. When we put artificial limbs to those people. Each time in Calcutta, when I go to this artificial limb camp and when I see people coming, so last time I saw Sheikh Malik crawling into the center. He has no legs. So he crawls into the center. And then we fit 2 artificial limbs onto him and he starts walking again. Go and ask him what peace is. For him, those 2 artificial limbs that we put are peace for him in his life. Not just his life, but his family also. To that lady who's sleeping on a footpath in the cold winter of Delhi with 2 daughters and 1 blanket only, go and ask her what peace is. To her, peace is that piece of bread that you will give her. She's not interested who's at war with whom. So positive peace in this world comes only out of positive action. Negative peace is when there are wars. But positive peace comes when you and I trying to make this world more peaceful, more beautiful. And what better organization than talking about peace than Rotary itself? To me, it has brought one of the best things in this world as far as peace is concerned, and that is polio eradication. 35 years back, 350,000 children were affected by polio, so they were either dying or getting paralyzed for their lifetime. Last year, that number has come down to 150. 350,000 to 150 in 35 years, you do a little bit of arithmetic and you will find we have saved more than 19 million children in this world from getting affected by polio, and which means 19 million lives saved. It is a figure which is higher than even the First World War. I always think Rotary has averted actually a world war. But you may say, so many people work for so many diseases, but how many diseases have we been able to eradicate? Only one before polio, smallpox, only one. And now we are this close to eradicate this disease and bring peace into the lives of not just those millions of children that we have immunized. We have immunized billions of children, but saved lives of those 19 million. Imagine their families. And this is only one program that we have done. Our other programs, when in the parched villages of Africa, you go and sink 100 bore wells and water gushes out of them. Go and ask those people what peace is, and they'll tell you that every drop of water there is peace for them. Friends, when we do eye surgeries, that 80-year-old Rani Bai, she was longing to see her grandson, but she could not because she had lost both her eyes. It needed surgery, but her poor son could not afford the surgery. Going 3 times to the hospital, paying for the eye surgery was not possible till Rotary did the eye surgery. And then jab uski bandage khuli, and the first time she could see her grandson, tears rolled out of her eyes. Friends, those were the tears of peace. That is what peace is. I know for years I have worked on the heart surgery program. For many years, each day that I walked into my office, I would see 1 or 2 children sitting at my office waiting with their parents. The parents would want to talk to me about getting a heart surgery done for their children. None of those hundreds and hundreds of people that I have met, not one of them earned more than 7,000 rupees a month, which meant 84,000 rupees a year. The surgery would cost 2 lakhs of rupees, which meant for 3 years, every penny that they earned, they would have to spend on that heart surgery. But the child will not live for 3 years. That's when Rotary comes in and does that, mends that heart. What great peace in that family. And in the last 10 years, since I started this program, 15 years probably, we have done 20,000 heart surgeries across India. Another example of bringing peace into the lives. Peace is not just absence of war. The fact that we go and create these rural toilets, is that not bringing peace? If any of our family members, imagine in a village, have to go out into the jungles, is it a life that is peaceful? What about the dignity of our women? Till a few years back, there were no toilets at homes. In the last 4 years, my own club has put 6,000 rural toilets. It is because of Swachh Bharat that toilets are coming into the homes. They have come to schools, but let me tell you, not every household in India has a toilet. There are millions of homes which are still without toilets. When we go and create those toilets, I tell you, they look like Taj Mahal. Their homes are made out of mud. They have thatched roofs. And I'm telling you stories that I've personally seen. Next to that, we create these new toilets. They don't make toilets inside their homes. Because of their cultural issue, the toilets are outside. Won't those toilets, painted, well painted, pakka structures, look like Taj Mahals in comparison to the homes that they live in? Suddenly the women can use those toilets, bringing back dignity to them, saving their modesty. Friends, each day when we work in any of the areas of focus, let me tell you, we do God's work on earth. We bring peace into the minds and hearts of people. So Rotarians, wherever you are, whatever work you are doing, keep doing that work. Because Rotary gives an amazing opportunity of bringing peace in this world. Why else? Why else do hundreds and hundreds of Rotarians from different parts of the world, they kept coming to India to give those 2 polio drops? Why? How are they concerned with the children in India? when America did not have polio for years. But they did because they wanted peace in this world. And they knew that till one child has polio in this world, the world is not at peace as far as this disease is concerned. Friends, Rotary's ethos itself talks about doing good in this world. When we do these global grants, why is it that they say two clubs have to come together and they have to be international? Because they are trying to create bond between people to people. When two Rotary clubs, when two districts come together internationally, they are trying to bring goodwill and understanding between each other. Our youth exchange program is an excellent example of bringing peace. So when a Brazilian comes to India, lives here for 8 to 10 months and goes back to his country, he takes so much of India back. He becomes an ambassador of the goodwill and the culture of India to that country. And when you understand the goodwill, when you understand the culture of a country, that is when you start appreciating that country, and that reduces conflicts between countries. Each of our programs, whether it is scholarships and the latest, our Peace Scholarships program. What an amazing program we have. Each year we churn out more than 100 peace scholars. These are people who are trained in conflict resolution. So tomorrow, if imagine there is a war situation of war between two countries, and the decision to be going to war or not is to be taken by that person. And imagine, and that person who's supposed to sign on that file to go for war is a peace scholar of ours. He or she will sign no war. And friends, one such war averted is the best way we can bring peace in this world. Our peace program is an outstanding example. The polio program, amazing program. The global grants, outstanding program. The scholarships program that we have done for years, we did more than 40,000 scholarships over the years. Each person going and understanding the world better. When people meet each other, that's when goodwill gets created. That's when understanding starts between countries. And friends, Rotarians know no boundaries. I remember when I was becoming the district governor, there was this Kargil war. Even as India and Pakistan were fighting the Kargil war, and I was raising funds for our Jawans there. But on the other hand, my counterpart in Pakistan and I, we were also trying to do a peace conference so that we could bring peace in this world, in this part of the world. We have, even today, our relations may be whatever they are. We have children coming, at least 200 children from Pakistan have come to Calcutta to my club for getting their heart surgeries done. We are not at war with those children. We want to bring peace in their lives. A mother and father wait for 9 months for their bundle of joy to come. And when the kid comes, their joy is endless. But soon they come to know the child has a hole in the heart. It pierces a hole in their hearts too. Pocket में hole होता है वो तो बात ही छोड़ दीजिए. So friends, any activity that the Rotarians do, it brings positive peace. And let me tell you, today the entire world talks about positive peace. You and I are not politicians to be able to stop a war. But let me also tell you, when it came to the work of stopping wars, we have even done that. We have done that in El Salvador. There was a war and we stopped the war so that polio eradication could be done there. When there was a civil war in Sri Lanka, we have done ceasefire there so that the children could be given drops. Rotary's role in the formation of United Nations itself cannot be forgotten. So it's an organization that stands by peaceful issues. And I'm so very happy, Gajendra, that you we should keep bringing these matters to the table so that everybody, the new generation, the others, everyone who are unaware of what's happening in the rest of the world, come to understand what role we play, what positive role we play to bring peace in this world. and you have chosen an extremely poignant day, a very special day to discuss this matter. One of the greatest person that walked this earth, the champion of peace, if there was any, Gandhi. It was today, unfortunately, that his life ended, not in peace, but for the country. And you've chosen this date as a remembrance to him. I would dedicate this, I'm sure you would dedicate this peace convention to that great man who walked this earth, who strongly believed in non-violence, who believed in peace, and very few people have believed in peace just as he had done. My compliments to each and every one of you. Let me just end with every time I speak on peace, I cannot but say what John Lennon had written. He wrote that famous song, Imagine. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger, a brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. One day you too will join me and the world will live as one. Imagine there are no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. One day you too will join me and the world will live as one. Let us all try to live in peace, each one of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your words of wisdom. Peace is indeed a very important virtue in the present day, and Rotary is working diligently towards peace and conflict resolution. We are honored to have Mrs. Anuradha Shankar IPS here with us today. And to tell us more about her, I invite Rotary Neetu Joshi, one of the founding members of the National Peace Movement. Rotary Neetu Joshi is the past president of Rotary Club of Indore, Malvika, and is also the chief trainer in USM. Over to you, ma'am.
Srimati Anuradha Shankar, an IPS officer of 1990 batch, is presently the Additional Director General of Police, Madhya Pradesh. She has rendered her service in the district of Bilaspur, Raipur, Sarguja, Vidisha, Bhopal, Hoshangabad, Indore in various capacities. Before being transferred to Bhopal, she was the Inspector General of Police, Indore Zone. In 2008, she was awarded for her excellence in service. As the Inspector General of Police, Indore, she became a darling of the people because of her daring actions against the anti-social elements involved in various crimes and her availability and approachability to the common people. She has the track record of being an honest, hardworking, courageous, and dedicated police officer. She is a police officer with a human and smiling face. Being a lover of literature and continuous learning, she is a scholar. She is also an influential speaker. The audience were taken up by her erudite speech on Mahatma Gandhi during the last 6 National Peace Conventions. Naturally, she became a choice of the organizers for this year's Peace Convention also. We most cordially welcome you, Madam, to the 7th National Peace Convention, which turned to be the first global convention, and deliver your speech on the topic Mahatma Gandhi and the 20th century pandemic.
Thank you, Neetu ji, for this very kind introduction. Good evening to everyone here, and good morning, good afternoon to anyone else who is in another time zone. I've been listening to all the beautiful prayers and songs and watching dances, and I also listened to the speech of Mr. Mehta and the introduction of Father Varghese. And I was wondering whether, people have actually remembered today about what Mahatma Gandhi thought about, peace. He never spoke of peace as a word. This peace convention, which we are having today, the seventh national and first global, I like this combination today, we call it peace convention, I suppose for convenience sake, because as I understood from Father Varghese, who's been constantly compelling me to join you and talk to you about Mahatma Gandhi in almost every peace convention, actually in every peace convention, I always understood that this was to honor Mahatma Gandhi's, struggle not only for the freedom of India, but for reconstruction of India. And that is why what Mr. Mehta has called positive peace, which is an interesting term being used in many circles these days in the academia, was called constructive program by Mahatma Gandhi. So he actually lived a multifarious life where on one hand, he took up the freedom struggle as almost a war, a non-violent war. It was not a peaceful war. It was constant struggle. He was constantly negotiating, writing, petitioning, and then he was conducting civil disobedience programs against the British. And simultaneously, since South Africa days, he had started off his constructive program, which was in which he trained people for a different lifestyle. He started ashrams. He started his first ashram in South Africa, near Durban, in Inanda, the Phoenix Ashram, and that was a completely different place where he was not fighting with anyone, he was not petitioning anyone, he was not opposing anyone, but they were just trying a lifestyle of simple living and community living without borders, boundaries, without segregation, without exclusion. So it was interesting I was just thinking about it. I'm just thinking aloud with you before I come to the topic. And many of you have heard me before, so you know that usually just converse and not give a lecture. So this is my thinking aloud. Mahatma Gandhi did not live through the 20th century. He died of a madman's bullet, 2 years before the century was even 50 years old. So why do I want to talk about Mahatma Gandhi and the 20th century pandemic? First, I want to remind you that in exactly almost 100 years back, in 1918, there was something called the Spanish flu, which came on the earth. I do not know whether you have heard about it, whether you have read about it. It's a very tragic thing, and it also tells you something about global politics. The Spanish flu actually began in military camps in the United States of America. But the First World War was on, and it was almost getting over. And the American establishment realized that if they let this out, and it was mostly attacking young male persons. It was a coronavirus, just like this coronavirus, and it was attacking the digestive system. There was very high fever. People would have bad gastric problems, and eventually they would bloat and die within a few days. They wouldn't survive for more than a week or so. And it was harming male youth, young male persons more than it was harming anyone else. So, and who were fighting the war? Who are fodder for the cannon? They are young male persons, especially in early 20th century. So, American establishment decided not to reveal this. Now, this was carried by their soldiers to Europe, to the European theater of war, and it spread through UK, it spread through France, and finally it came to Spain. Now in Spain, because, and it's very interesting, you might know, if you know a little bit of that history of the First World War, that Spain was neutral in the war. And when people started dying by the hundreds in Spain, then, and there was censorship in all the other countries, including France, which was with the US, with, the Allied parties. So there was censorship, so they did not mention this pandemic. The pandemic was first mentioned in Spain, and they pronto called it the Spanish flu, because Spain was neutral and there was no censorship there. Now, this traveled through our soldiers. And you know that Mahatma Gandhi himself was instrumental in sending lots of young people to the First World War. Despite being a peacenik, you know that very well. He sent a lot of Indians. He actually started his first war effort during the Boer War in the 19th century in South Africa, and but that time he only got charge of a nursing corps, and in this First World War he inspired people to go and be a part of the British Army, he said that to learn, and also to tell the Crown that we were loyal subjects, and we were not, he actually grew from that place, from there. And there are stages in his life where he does lots of things which you might today find a little controversial. So these young people who had come back from Europe, landed in Bombay, they brought the coronavirus with them, they brought the Spanish flu with them, and it just swept across India. In the whole world, young men died because of the coronavirus, but the so-called Spanish flu. But in India, guess what? More women died. Because women in India, as they are now, then they were malnourished, they were not healthy, they were weaker, and they just died in droves. And so the problem here is, I want to flag this problem, is that we do not know much about that. This is just the beginning, which I'm telling you. Then Mahatma Gandhi got the Spanish flu himself. He was in the Koshrab ashram. He got the Spanish flu. Kasturba Mata did not get it. And Mahatma Gandhi got and you have heard the story about Mahatma Gandhi is taking, his doctor convinced him to take goat's milk. It is this virus which made him very weak and ill. And he writes in his autobiography, which ends in 1921, you know that. And he writes in his autobiography that it was as if death was standing at my door. He was very, very weakened. He got the gastric attacks, he got fever, he got very, very weak. His doctor convinced him to take goat's milk to get his strength back, because he wouldn't take any cow's milk or buffalo milk. So he also got the Spanish flu. Now, what happened was that the British government typically, because they had the worst opinion of their colonies, whether it was India or Africa or wherever. So they decided to let the people, leave the people to their own fate. They actually, and if you, now there are lots of articles about this on the internet. And if you go there and read, then you'll find that they said that these Indians live in dirt like vermin, and let them suffer their own fate. So they did not actually react at all. There were lockdowns, especially in Bombay and Gujarat, which had dockyards and harbors where ships were coming in. But there were lockdowns. You can read about lockdowns. There were notices, and there was this injunction to wear a mask constantly. But there was very little medical response. So what Mahatma Gandhi did was, and he always had these unique responses, what he did was that he inspired doctors, hakims, and vaidyas. We had lots of, these traditional medicine men, medicinal systems. And medical doctors who were trained as MBBS doctors, MDs, MSs, because as you know, even women, you might have heard of Pandita Ramabai, who got her doctoral, medicine degree in the 19th century itself. So we had doctors in India, and he inspired those doctors to go from village to village and help out the people, whether they were doctors or hakims or vaidyas. What happened was that these people went as his workers, so they almost became Gandhian agents. They became people from the Indian National Congress, which was fighting the British, the first war of freedom. In the meantime, next year itself, after 1818, in 1918, in 1919, the Jallianwala Bagh massacre happened. And the people who were ill, who were dying, who had no care from the government, and who were being cared for by these, so-called social workers, freedom fighters, they were being cared for. The most important thing about the Gandhian social worker is, if you're a true Gandhian, you never ever say that you have done this service. You always serve with humility. You think that it is your privilege that you're serving. If you have got the privilege of service, you should be happy and humble about it and never mention it. It's as is said in the Bible that when your right hand helps someone, your left hand shouldn't know about it. So the Gandhian principle is the same, that you must, whenever you serve, your service should be with a sense that you are doing a duty without taking any credit for it. So these people did that. Now the people of India who were already, seething with anger and unhappiness, you can imagine how this created a kind of faith in them, in this new struggle, in this freedom movement. And when the Jallianwala Bagh massacre occurred, then it completely blew the lid off. And then they realized that, this is a yoke which we have to throw. And the British walked from one trap into another. So this, the first trap was ignoring the plight of the people during the flu, the pandemic, and then they did this cruelty in Jallianwala Bagh. Now, Mahatma Gandhi did not do it on purpose, but somehow his whole idea of looking after people's health. You might have heard about how he used to serve a leper, how he used to, he used to look after his own kitchen. In the ashram, he would decide what is to be cooked today, what is healthy for the ashramites. So this whole focus that he had on the whole lifestyle of an ashramite, of a Gandhian, of an Indian, this whole thing translated into a completely new way of life for the people of India, where they had to struggle for their freedom, but they also had to look after themselves. There was no one else looking after them. So this whole pandemic situation, which then, that it made people so weak that there were a series of epidemics after that. There was plague. You might have heard of the bubonic plague. And the worst was in 1921-22, the gastroenteritis, which is called the enteric fever, which is cholera, and which in the villages in India was known as Heja. And that completely decimated village after village, because it dehydrates people, and it had this problem. So this whole 20th century pandemic gave Mahatma Gandhi a kind of new vision to look at his people. Initially, he was only looking at the struggle of India's freedom as a political struggle. But then he started looking at it as a struggle for India's health, India's cleanliness, the way how people can be healthy. And this whole idea came together. Why don't we know about this? Now I come to a point which I want all of you to think about. I request you to ponder on this, that why don't we know about what diseases have ravaged our country? Why don't we know about how our country has been weakened by disease after disease, pandemics, epidemics? Why? You know why? Because we think of ourselves not as a society, but as an economy. The problem with the whole world is that it follows a model set by the West, which looks at especially America, not really the West, because Europe is also a very traditional society, but to this new country, United States of America, which is a very deliberately established nation, which has to rediscover paradigms for itself. But the old ancient nations, like the European nations, the nations, Asian nations, we somehow have decided to follow the paradigm of a new nation which is still in the making. You can see that it is still in the making. But we have decided to leave bothering about society and only bother about economy. If we bothered about society, we would read the history of what happened to our society at various points of time. Mahatma Gandhi was focused on the society of India. He did not have the economy out of his mind because he always thought of programs. So, in his constructive programs, there were always programs for self employment, for employment generation, for village upliftment. And he had this because he understood that the unit is the smallest unit. The individual, the family, the village, the little society, that is the basic unit. But what has happened is we have started looking at even the state as a profit-making organization. And if the state becomes a profit-making organization, who is going to look at welfare? And I'm talking to all urban people here, but I'm asking you, who is going to look at welfare? If I, as an officer, look at my government's expenditure only for the government's profit, who is going to, if the government becomes the businessman and government looks at profit, who is going to look at the welfare of people? We have to look at the welfare of people. The Gandhian way of life, the Gandhian way of looking at things is to look at the welfare of people, because it is the people who make this world. What is your country made of? Once Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was addressing a meeting in somewhere in Western UP, and somebody said, Bharat Mata ki Jai. So he said, okay, Bharat Mata ki Jai, but who is Bharat Mata? Mother India, victory to Mother India, that person said. What is Mother India? Who is Mother India? So they said, this land, right. So this land is Mother India. So this land with its rivers and trees, yes, and the animals, yes, and the people, yes, the people too. You are Mother India. Every person here is Mother India. Who is Mother Earth? The people, the creatures, the trees who inhabit Mother Earth is Mother Earth. Mother Earth is just not one big rock, with some liquid thrown on it. No, it is everything that comprises it. We are part of Mother Earth. We are part of Mother India. So Mahatma Gandhi looks at it in this way, that it is centered on society, on people, not on money. So here, when I'm talking of the 20th century pandemic, the second pandemic, which started when Mahatma Gandhi was right there, but which actually grew very large after his death, was people's focus on profit. People's focus on their self-aggrandizement. How rich am I? How much money can I have to spend? How lavishly can I live? And I have said this before to you, that it's a very moot question, but do you see a different time in a watch which is 300 rupees or in a watch which is 300,000 rupees? You buy a wristwatch, and is the time different in a wristwatch which costs $1 and which costs $100? So why do you want to have that lavishness in your life which takes away from another? As Mahatma Gandhi said, there's enough Mother Earth has enough for every person's need, but not enough for one person's greed. So we have to understand that in this new pandemic which we had, what happened was all of us got affected. Every single individual in the world got affected by something which we call aspiration. You might think of aspiration as giving out of breath, but there has become this whole pandemic. The 20th century pandemic was the pandemic of aspiring for wealth, aspiring for luxuries, aspiring for things which you do not really require. And whenever you take more than what you require, you take away from someone's needs, because there is enough for everyone, but not enough for just one person's extra requirements. So this was the second pandemic which happened during during the 20th century. And what does Mahatma Gandhi say for that? Mahatma Gandhi says, he quotes a very beautiful shloka from the Ishavasya Upanishad. I think I've said that to you before. It's Ishavasya midam sarvam yat kinch jagatyam jagat. Ishavasya midam sarvam yat kinch jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjitha ma gridha kasya svidhanam. So it says that everything which is there on this earth, everything in this world, universe, jagat, in this jagat and beyond this jagat is all divine. Ishavasya it is the abode of the divine. Now everything is divine. Ten tyaktena bhunjitha, you detach yourself from that. So you're also divine, but detach yourself from all this. Ten tyaktena bhunjitha, and enjoy it. Bhunjitha, enjoy it. So he says, everything is divine, leave it and then enjoy it. Detach and enjoy. Ma gridha kasva siddhanam. Don't try to take anyone else's. Now that everything is divine, you have left everything. You have to enjoy it. Don't take away anyone else's. Now you have left it. So how will you take it? So this detachment one needs to practice. And as people who are talking of Mahatma Gandhi on the day of his nirvana, we must think about this fact, that how can you walk in the path, and Mr. Mehta said very beautifully that no one could have understood peace as he understood. And what he understood was that peace has to come from two important things. One, self-examination. Examine yourself. Ask yourself. And what do you have to ask? The decision that I'm going to take, whatever I'm going to decide today, how is it going to affect? It is called the Gandhi's talisman. It is called Gandhi's talisman. You can Google it and find it. I'm not saying it in Gandhiji's words. I'm saying it in my words. But what he says is, whenever you take a decision, think of the poorest person that you know, the last person that you know, and ask yourself, examine yourself, whether the decision that you're taking is going to make his or her life better. Is it going to change his or her life for the better? This question you must ask, and only then all your confusions will be driven away and you will be able to take an informed and correct decision. So self-examination, that is one tenet of Gandhism. The other tenet which Gandhi gave us to fight this pandemic, a huge pandemic of self-aggrandizement, was self-discipline. It's very easy for all of us to go and tell other people to discipline, to discipline other people. But it's very difficult for us to discipline ourselves. If I come to you, decked up all in gold, and talk to you about simplicity, about living life in meager resources, are you going to believe me? Are you going to trust me? You can't. You will not. If my house here, and I'm in my house because it's beyond office time. So I'm sitting here in my house. And if you saw chintz curtains and lavish furniture here. You can see what is there right behind me. That's bark print from Madhya Pradesh. I'm very proud of that. So, and there's a Pitora painting up there made by the deceased Pema Bhatia. Pema Bhatia was one of the greatest tribal artists of Madhya Pradesh. Fate took him away from us at the age of almost 90 this year, but it's hand painted by him. He was so simple that when we asked him how much would you take, so he said, you give me the canvas and you give me the paint and you can give me 2,000 rupees. This is the kind of simplicity which he had, and some middleman would buy it and sell it for lakhs of rupees. So if I did not live like this, if I did not live simply, my words would not ring true to you. It would never ring true to you. So the second part is self-discipline. If we do not practice self-discipline, we have absolutely no right to speak about discipline to others. That also brings us to what he used to talk about, rights and duties. This is something which we had talked about in Nagaland also, that when Sir Julian Huxley wrote to him about the Universal Declaration of Rights, and he said that I want to have your opinion about the Universal Declaration of Rights. What should I include in that? So Mahatma Gandhi wrote to him. And in fact, before that, he had also written to H.G. Wells, writer H.G. Wells. He had written to him also that I do not talk about rights without duties. I learned about rights at the need of my illiterate mother, a village woman who told me that there can be no rights without any duties. Every right comes from a duty well performed. So therefore, Mahatma Gandhi takes you through this self-discipline to a balance of rights and duties, where you ask for rights, but you perform your duties. Where you stand for your rights, but you perform your duties. The problem is that we are always looking at only the Universal Charter of Rights. We are not looking at the duties that each individual has towards another individual, towards the society, towards this earth, towards every being or non-being. And that is also the pandemic which started in the 20th century. So these two major pandemics, the pandemic of disease and the pandemic of money, the pandemic of gain, the pandemic of irresponsible gain, which started, can only be met if we think like Mahatma Gandhi, if we walk on the path that he walked, because he did not preach to us. He actually walked the path, and you have to walk the path. There is no way. And somebody was asking me today, a young person, that, the Gandhians, they don't have many conventions. They don't have many seminars. I said, well, the Gandhians are there in the villages. They're there in the forests. They are working. Go work with them, and you will see what is happening there, and you will see a seminar in practice. You will see a conference in practice. And that is what Mahatma Gandhi gives us as a solution to these two pandemics, which I have identified. I implore you, those of you who work on history, sociology, to go back and study these things, especially the young people. Check it out. Read about it. There's a lot available, frittered away on the internet too, and in the libraries. Read about it and go back to focus on the society, rather than look at your country as a society, rather than looking at it only as an economy. I don't mind if you look at your country as an economy, but it's very important to look at your country, your nation, primarily as a society. This world, this earth, the humanity, primarily as a society. The moment we start looking at it as a society, we are going to feel not very good about taking away more than we need, about looking at people who have much less than what they require, than what they deserve. And that will bring us there to the first step of Mahatma Gandhi, understanding the other, because there is the other today, and this self and the other whole story which started in the 20th century, because people became so individualistic. We have to get out of that. That century has gone. Let us make a let us start a new era. Let us start a new world, and let us look at it again. Go back to thinking of ourselves as one society, not one economy. And with this, I conclude what I had to say about the 20th century pandemics and Mahatma Gandhi in that context. He was there, as I told you, for a very short while, but he has left the impact which is going to show us the way I personally feel forever. Thank you so much, Father Varghese, for this opportunity, and thank you, everyone. I'm looking at everybody's video, and I can see lots of people who are actually listening. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for the enlightening address. You told us about Mahatma Gandhi's role towards peace and the relevance of his principles in the present day context. Once again, thank you, ma'am. We also have among us today Rotarian Gajendra Singh Narang, Governor of Rotary International District 3040. He is a very strong supporter of peace initiative and a motivating force behind the gathering the Rotarians to this convention. To introduce him, I'd like to invite Rotarian Ashish Trivedi, a founding member of the National Peace Movement. He is also the Secretary of the Indian Society of Authors, Indore. Over to you, sir.
I am very glad to introduce and welcome Rotarian Dr. Gajendra Singh Narang. Rotarian Gajendra Singh Narang is a managing director of a real estate company, Total Realty Solutions India. He also heads food processing company, GS Industries Corporation. He is a science graduate with LLB, MBA, and doctorate. He has served Rotary International in various capacities like club secretary, club president, Rotary chairman of District 3040, assistant governor in year 2011 and 12, chairman community service for year 2013 and 14. Rotarian Gajendra Narang also has served in number of social organizations. As a adventurous sports person, he has won many prizes for car and bike races. Presently, he is the district governor of Rotary District 3040. On behalf of all participants of 7th National First Global Peace Convention, I extend to you, Rotarian Gajendra Narang Sahab, most cordial welcome.
Thank you, Ashish ji. Shall I start? And am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible, but your voice is very feeble.
Okay. So, Jai Jagat to all my global friends. Jai Jagat to all my global friends, and greetings to all of you who have joined today. Let me first of all congratulate Rotarian Father Varghese Alagardan, who is the chairman for this National Peace Movement. Also, let me congratulate Dr. Sangeeta Jain. She is secretary to this National Peace Movement, and all the collaborators, Rotary International District 3040, Universal Solidarity Movement, especially Rotary Club of Indore Malvika, GlobalThix.net, Indian Currents, Trendsetters Book Limited, Peace Channel, and all my fellow friends who are present in this wonderful program. I extend my warm welcome to my all batchmates from this my own country as well as from different parts of world. I extend my warm welcome to District Governor-elect Colonel Mahendra Mishra, DG and Jinendra Jain, all assistant governors, presidents, secretaries of various Rotary clubs, and all non-Rotarians, fellow dignitaries, especially Anuradha Shankarji IPS. She has given a wonderful speech right now in front of you on Mahatma Gandhi. I thank Rotarian Shekhar Mehta ji, who is Rotary International President-elect, who is right now in Delhi for his International Assembly, but he was able to took some time and grace this wonderful program. I greet all the students, children who are participating in this program, and I am very much hopeful that in the coming 3 days you will be having a fabulous program as far as peace is concerned. Friends, forgive, forget, and move on to build peace. This is what Father Varghese Alagadhan says to everybody. He says, we shall not wait for God to bring peace because each one of us is an incarnation of God and we carry God within us. Let peace come forth from each one of us in our thoughts, in our words, and in our action. I remember the first global national peace convention was held in Indore and then in different parts of India. When I met Father 1.5 years back and we planned that where to do the 7th National Convention, I told Father that as a governor, I would like that this should be held in Indore again so that we would be there in big strength. Because of pandemic, we were not able to do it physically, as you all know. But yes, there are always positives of everything. And because of that, this National Peace Convention, which was 7th in a row, is now also the first Global Peace Convention. I congratulate each and every member of National Peace Movement who has given his day and night for this wonderful incarnation whose inaugural is today itself. In the coming days, we are having very nice peace movement speakers, youth speakers, speakers related to Rotary and all other different fields. Especially in this moment, there is one particular session which will be carried only in Hindi, and I would like to tell you that there are speakers in this session who are from United Kingdom also. So I give my best wishes. I congratulate the whole team. And what a wonderful thing Shekhar da told that Rotary is doing positive peace. So the positive peace is a takeaway which we all should focus on. And also tomorrow and day after tomorrow, we are having our international directors, Dr. Bharat Pandya ji and Dr. Mahesh Kodbagi. They will also be speaking about the same, and many other fellow Rotarians will be giving you the information how Rotary will also move ahead as far as peace is concerned. I remember that in previous years, Dr. Ashok Mahajan, Megha Patkar, Gulam Vahanavati ji, Chinmay Mishra ji, and many senior and national leaders have participated in the peace convention. I fully understand and have the faith that this convention will bring new light to this peace movement. We are determined to do many activities in District 3040 as far as peace movement is concerned. With all the congratulations and gratitudes, I would like to end my speech with famous quote of Martin Luther King Jr. that darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. And the programs like this, which is done by this National Peace Movement, can build a strong foundation for not only peace in our homes, not only peace in our states, in our country, but in the whole world. Thank you. Thanks a lot to all of you for being here. And please, as Father Varghese told, that continue to be there for all the 3 days. This is a wonderful program. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Rotary.
Thank you, sir, for the warm words of greetings. You are a great supporter of this peace initiative and have made great contributions towards the same. Once again, thank you so much, sir. Art speaks where words are unable to express. So let us now enjoy this dance performance by the Peace Club of Carmel Convent School, Gwalior, Madhya Pradesh. The song they're performing on calls everyone to walk together on the path of truth and honesty and work towards a new and better society.
प्रोग्राम है 10 तारीख 6-8 मिनट वाला प्रोग्राम है
आओ रे दोस्तों सत्य मार्ग सब मिल अपनाए आओ रे दोस्तों सत्य मार्ग सब मिल अपनाए प्रेम बलिदान को याद करे आओ प्रेम बलिदान को याद करे आओ सत्य वचन से सभी जन जीवन नया पाओ सत्य वचन से सभी जन जीवन नया पाओ मिलके चले सभी जन मिलके चले मिलके चले सभी जन मिलके चले मिलके चले सभी जन मिलके
Thank you, students, for the wonderful performance. This online convention is also the first global peace convention. That is, we have guests and participants from all around the globe. And one of our speakers for the day is Mrs. Lavina Dsouza from New Jersey, USA. And to introduce her to the audience, I invite Dr. Casey Thomas, manager of St. Arnold School, Jhartarang, Odisha.
Good evening to everybody. Mrs. Lavina Dsouza was born and brought up in Mangalore, Karnataka. After completing her Bachelor of Science, she further completed her Bachelor of Education from Mangalore University with a gold medal. She worked as a teacher for 2 years before becoming a full-time animator at USM, Universal Solidarity Movement, in early 1999. She was an active member of youth movement and was elected first female president of Mangalore Diocese Central Youth Council in 1997. After her marriage, she moved to USA in 2000 and lives in New Jersey, USA. Currently, she works for a baby furniture manufacturing company called M Design Village as its chief operating officer. She oversees global imports, human resources, customer relations, warehouse operations, and overall functioning of the company. Over to you, Lavina. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas. Good evening and namaste, everyone. Every year, Father Verghese used to invite me to attend the National Peace Convention, and I am so glad this year, finally, I'm able to be a part of this great event. I should say thanks to COVID-19 and the technology that I'm able to participate in this virtual event. I'm humbled to share this event with the dignitaries who are experts in their fields and continue to contribute to the betterment of the society. It was enlightening to listen to all of them. Well, I don't carry any such honors or titles as other distinguished speakers, but the biggest title I have is that I am a woman and I am proud to be one. The subject of women's empowerment is near and dear to my heart. I can talk for hours on this, but I know I only have 8 minutes and I will try my best to share my thoughts. First of all, I am so proud to say that America has finally elected a woman vice president in Kamala Harris, and more importantly, a woman of Indian origin. I'm also one step closer towards respecting women and their talents. On the other hand, the fact that it took an advanced country like America 244 years to achieve this tells us all about current scenario of women in our society. Just because a country has a woman president or a prime minister or a woman holding high level in positions in politics, that does not mean we have empowered women. Many times when we discuss women empowerment, we miss the basic point. I know exactly how I was treated as a girl child, and I know exactly how my mother was treated as a girl child. My mother was the oldest among 8 siblings in the family. She was asked to stay home after 6th standard, not because she hated school, but because she had to take care of her younger brothers. In the meanwhile, all her 6 brothers were sent to school and colleges as they desired. And right there, we see the problem. I read a beautiful quote other day by Melinda Gates, the wife of Bill Gates. She says, sometimes all that is needed to lift women up is to stop pulling them down. I was born after 3 brothers, and according to some superstition, I was considered a curse to the family. I was often called Shurpanaki. I don't know if you have heard that word around, but when I was born, I was called Shurpanaki. And of course, I was treated with the same attitude and cruelty accordingly. I don't blame my parents for it. It is a society who labeled me that way from the minute they knew my mother had delivered a girl child. I fought, and I fought very hard to prove everyone wrong. Until today, I am proving them wrong. It takes every ounce of your courage and creativity to fight these prejudices and norms in the society that are established. Today, I'm a daughter who is ever grateful to my parents, a wife with a husband who treats me with respect and dignity, a proud mother of 2 teenage boys, a sister to my 5 siblings who tries to keep all of them united, a daughter-in-law who is blessed with amazing in-laws, and I am a sister-in-law to 7 of my other sisters-in-law. And on a professional level, I am the chief operating officer of one of the largest children's furniture producing companies in the United States. Now, I often joke with my mom that I am not your Shurpanaki anymore, but I am your Chandramukhi. Given how difficult my survival was as a young girl, I made sure my younger sister was treated with respect and was given good education just like my brothers. I constantly fight for my nieces and support them who want to achieve things which are not normally accepted. I am so proud to be a woman and would not change this for anything. My dear friends, the first person in a woman's life who should empower her is another woman. The mothers have to accept their daughters when they come to this world, just like they would welcome a boy. Empowerment starts at home. The girl in the house should be treated with the same privileges and respect like a boy would be treated. The sons should be taught by the mothers to respect other women around them. When a family receives a daughter-in-law into their house, the mother-in-law must welcome her and treat her like her own daughter, and the daughter-in-law must treat her mother-in-law like her own mother. The mother should treat both her daughter and daughter-in-law with the same dignity and rules. This is how we empower women. This is how we create peace and harmony in families, communities, and in the country. When the basics are taken care for women, everything else will automatically fall in place. I have a number of people who work under me, and I'm proud to say that every employee I have hired personally in the last 20 years of my professional life happens to be a woman, because I know I can count on them. I have helped countless number of poor but talented students to complete their higher education. And again, I am proud to say that every single one of them is a girl child. In general, the world perceives women as objects. No, we are not objects. We are human beings just like men. We are smart, we are courageous, we are creative, we are resilient, we are empathetic. Yes, we cry easily, but we are mentally and physically more stronger than you can ever imagine. We love, and we are the glue that holds the families together. And women can multitask and achieve so many things like that men can't even imagine. I'm not here to offend men. Men are an extremely important part of families who must help empower women. I'm just highlighting the strengths of women. We need no sympathy from anyone. I don't want anyone feeling sorry for me because I'm a woman. When women talk about empowerment, we are not asking for any special treatment in the society. We are simply asking for equal rights and the equal treatment that men get. Access to good education, health, hygiene, nutritious food, and safe place to stay. These are not privileges. These are basic human rights. If we take care of these basics, empowerment will automatically happen. We don't need to protest. We don't need to fight. We don't need to have roundtable conferences to discuss how women should be treated. Among the 7 billion people in this world, exactly 50% of them are women. So, my dear women, we don't need to wait for the men in this world to empower us. Forget about men treating women right. If every woman treats other women with respect, dignity, and equality, I consider that we have achieved women empowerment to a great extent. If any one of you listened to Father Verghes's message during Knit India 2020 in December last month, you probably heard about 28 articles of faith he discussed. Article number 5 reflects exactly what I expressed today. His dream is that one day women of this country, not the men, women of this country will refuse to be oppressed and exploited. Yes, as women, let us liberate ourselves. Let us believe in ourselves. Let us refuse to be oppressed and exploited. Let us stand up to the men who abuse us. Let us be an example of values and peace in the society who label us with superstitions and beliefs. Let us lift each other up. Let us support and treat every woman in our lives with dignity and respect. I strongly believe that the women are the solution and they're not the problem. Let us lift each other up instead of pulling each other down. Let us transform the Shurpanakis of this world into Chandramukhis. Today we celebrate the death anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. This man is the greatest role model of peace for the world. Gandhi spoke very openly about women empowerment and how they should be treated in the society. His nonviolent approach to achieving freedom and peace was an inspiration to the world leaders like Nelson Mandela and Martin Luther King Jr. We don't have to be rich and powerful or a celebrity to make a difference in someone's life. We simply have to live a life with a purpose and mission. I strongly believe women are brought into this universe with a special purpose. And my wish is that every woman will find that purpose and work towards making this universe a better place for everyone. You probably noticed that I have long hair. I've been growing my hair this long for a reason for the past almost 2 years. When my hair grows long enough, I want to donate my hair to a foundation called Wigs for Kids. This is an organization who makes wigs for cancer patients, especially for kids who are suffering from cancer. I am able to do this because I'm a woman. If you look at my driver's license, I have registered myself with the American government as an organ donor. My hope is that even after I die, I may be able to save someone's life. National Peace Convention is a meaningful forum, and I truly believe we achieve peace in this world when the woman in every family is educated, treated with respect, and given equal rights and opportunities as men. I am so honored to be a part of this event and humbled and truly honored to share the stage with all of you. Thank you, Father Verghese and USM, for this amazing opportunity and experience. And thank you, Rotary organization, for supporting the peace movement. Thank you, everyone, for listening to me. And I am so honored and delighted to be a part of this wonderful event. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am, for the motivational address. Listening to you talk about empowering women reminds me of the quote by Malala Yousafzai that goes, "We cannot all succeed when half of us are held back." Let us now enjoy a beautiful dance performance by the Peace Club of Servite Convent School, Hoshangabad, MP. The lyrics of the song tell us that heaven is nowhere else but on this earth, and eternal life is in this life itself.
कस्तूरी का मृग ज्यों फिरी फिरी ढूंढे घास, जिस स्वर्ग की कल्पना हम पृथ्वी लोक से परे करते हैं, साथियों, वो स्वर्ग और कहीं नहीं, धरती पर ही है। वो मोक्ष जिसकी कल्पना हम मृत्यु उपरांत करते हैं, वो और कहीं नहीं, इस जीवन में ही है।
Thank you, students, for the fabulous performance. And now we have another esteemed speaker from Geneva, Switzerland, Professor Dr. Obiora Ike. And to introduce Professor Obiora, I invite Rotarian Lourdes Swami, Director of St. Mary's Champion School, Indore.
Professor Dr. Obiora Ike, the Executive Director, Globethic.net, Geneva, Switzerland, is a human rights activist, development practitioner, public speaker, author, teacher, pastor, and bridge builder across the continents. Born in Nigeria, Dr. Ike studied in Nigeria, Austria, Germany, France, and UK. And he holds degrees in philosophy, theology, economics, journalism, and political science. He gained his doctorate in Bonn, Germany, with a specialization in Christian social principles in 1986. Dr. Ike has held several leadership posts. He has also held several academic posts, most recently as Professor of Ethics and Intercultural Studies, Godfrey Okoye University, Nigeria. And he also chairs the Government of Enugu State Economic Advisory Committee since 2015. On behalf of all participants of Peace Convention, I am very much privileged to extend you, Dr. Obiora Ike, most cordial welcome to this 7th National and 1st Global Peace Convention. A hearty welcome to you, Doctor.
Thank you very much. You can see that we are in cold Geneva. The weather is drowsy. It is cold. There's no sunshine. It is raining, middle of winter. And there are our friends in faraway India thinking about a globe that has peace. I would like to extend my humble greetings and felicitations with all of you who are gathered around this discussion. And I am made to know that this is the first global convention on peace along the lines of the organizers. Even though it's the 7th national, it is the first global dimension. Congratulations. The topic of peace is age-old. It has been sought for by people all around the world. And human beings have lived in this world for so long, searching for peace. Pick any of the books, ancient works, and you read about wars. Everything about Greek mythology is about the fight even among the gods of Jupiter, of Hermes, of Zeus, of Dikaiosune. Fight. That is the language humanity, even divinity, have been used to. So the era of peace in human lives, in nature, in society, have always been a yearning, but often a yearning not realized. And yet this is the ambition for everybody. This is why we are Global Convention on Peace. And my perspective is to look at it from the ethical dimension, the challenge of what makes peace real. So I would like to say, we're listening to many Rotarians, and I find this fascinating because I have been working with Rotarians in my country, originally in Nigeria, and around the world in Germany. The Rotarian Foundation has set itself with a lot of ambitions and goals that serve humanity. Thank you. Peace is a goal, but peace does not make itself. Peace is founded on justice. The old Latin will say, si vis pacem, cole justitiam. If you want peace, work for justice. So peace is the fruit of justice. And justice is that which the ancients called suum cuique. Give to each person what it's once due. Respect, integrity, truth, inclusion, fairness. Because to want peace and not to work for justice is to make peace impossible. The problems that challenge humanity at this time are many, and these problems make peace impossible. Economic injustice. How can we live in a world, and like we've been told by other speakers, some have and majority do not have? Social justice. We listen to the statement by our sister all the way from the US, talking about equality of women and men. Think about global governance and political justice. How is it that some claim it as their right and others are excluded, that you have lords and servants? Think about climate justice. How can we talk about peace in the environment in which we live without doing the right things, without respecting nature? When I look at those dances and those speeches by the introduction by Father Varghese and all the others who really refer to the environment in which we live. So peace is possible, but peace continues to elude humanity because we do not work for what makes peace possible. What makes peace possible is justice. And justice is founded on truth. How can one talk about justice when one does not speak the truth? And what is truth but the identity of the thing with the idea? Because truth exists. Truth speaks for itself. Truth is there for all to glare. We cannot say, is it true? Because we know what is true. We know how to distinguish between a lie and its opposite. Humanity is being called to speak less about peace and talk more about justice. Because only when we do the work of justice does peace flourish. A child is hungry. Many of them are sick. Many of them are homeless, and they die young. Is that the world which we wish for? Is that the society we want to build, where many have all the resources of this world? They can go to schools, they can fly, they can see the world in and out, and the majority live in slums, not knowing the boundaries between that which gives them dignity. And yet, all of us know that our entire humanity has enough resources, enough technology, enough food, even enough water, enough land, enough grains for every human being. Think about what happens in regions of this world where tons and tons of medication and food are burnt, thrown away, consumption, whereas another portion of the world have nothing. They cannot even eat. They have famine. They have no access. Where some have reached the age of globalization that talks nanotechnology, that talks astronomy, and others cannot even read or write. This is the question. So to talk peace is to think about doing works of justice. And this is what makes me glad when I look at the Rotary Foundation and many charitable foundations, even religious organizations, traditional institutions, trying to work, doing charity work. When we read the life of Mother Teresa of Calcutta, I hear about work among lepers, work among the sick. When we see the things that traditional groups are doing, foundations are doing, and it is these small, small drops of water that create the ocean for global peace. Can someone explain to me why the funding for education is so low in many countries, but the funding for defense and armament and industry and weapons is 20 times much more? Tell me why we must invest in nuclear bombs and in atom bombs and in all those technologies that destroy, instead of building the human capacity to love and to share. So there is something fundamentally wrong, not with everybody, but with some, with a few who control the means and resources, because everybody wants peace, but someone is taking away our peace from us by not allowing the things to happen as they must and should happen. Ladies and gentlemen, as we think about global peace, we do know that it is possible. Global peace is a gift because heaven has endowed humanity with gift. The divine has given us life. No human being can create another life. That is why no human being should even attempt to take away another life. Heaven has graced us with nature, with the abundance of resources all of us have, but some are greedy. They want to take what belongs to everybody for themselves. It is good to be wealthy. It is hard work that pays. Why should people not own property? But the accumulation of wealth, the accumulation of property, the accumulation of the resources solely in egoism, in individualism, for oneself alone is not good. The African proverb says, eating alone is bad eating. Eating together is good eating. Sharing the resources is the reason for wealth. When I have wealth, which I accumulate, and they lie down there and do not turn back to impact humanity, what have I achieved? I have achieved the deprivation of people of that which is theirs naturally. Not everybody is equally endowed, but everybody can receive just like everybody can give. Let us wake up to a more serious discussion about peace founded on justice. When we go to the graveyards, what we see are people who are lying there also in peace. But there is a peace we call the peace of the graveyard, where the dead cannot rise and walk. This is not the peace we are talking about. We are talking about the peace that impacts a society of people who are alive, where people can have the right, the natural right, and the access to reach to the means which creation and nature has endowed all of us with. It is possible, but we must work for it. Ethics is that domain within philosophy, within practical sciences, within our knowledge of cultures and traditions, which talks about doing things the right way, doing the right things. Human beings often do what is wrong out of weakness, out of lack of knowledge, out of ignorance, and many more reasons, out of even wickedness. But the ability to do good is also part of that which all of us as human beings have. Why should I not respect my elders? Why should I not be truthful? Why should I go into government to be corrupt? And people go into government and get corrupt. They go into business and get corrupt. And corruption is the opposite of doing the right. So when somebody receives bribes and gives bribes and blinds and corrupts and undermines a system, that makes peace impossible. We are challenged to rethink. And I must say once again that the possibility for global peace is one of each person contributing a little bit of that which you can towards the large ocean of that which makes peace. Someone is known as a man of peace and also as a non-violent man of peace, Mahatma Gandhi. He gains world respect. He lived in Africa and saw apartheid. He saw also how human beings were being put into separations as if we were not all of one human blood and water. Mahatma Gandhi is highly respected everywhere. And in his honor, the activity of today is even being held. And we've listened to very nice, powerful speeches exposing and expressing his duty for duty's sake and not aggrandizement and pride. Humility as a virtue. It adds to peace. Thank you for inviting me. In Geneva at Globe Ethics, we try to make peace as an ethical idea and peace as a possibility, but made possible only through the work, the action of those who are challenged to build it. So we go into institutions of higher learning. We also go in with teachers. We look at professionals, and we look at ethics in higher education, but ethics generally in education, because education is the foundation upon which societies and civilizations are built. Globe ethics addresses global ethics, political ethics, social ethics, economic ethics, and environmental ethics, communications ethics, technological ethics, medical ethics, bioethics, interreligious ethics. We have in India an office in Bangalore. We have Father Jose and Rajula, who are our key members representing Globe Ethics in India. We have Professor Pavan Dugal, who lives in Delhi, who tries to push across ethics, cyber ethics as part of the things we do. We have in other regions of the world representatives, over 44 countries where we have offices, and virtually 192 countries where we have our networks and partners, building a coalition for ethics that serves peace. Together with you, we can reach that moment. Once again, God bless you richly our brothers and sisters in India for initiating a global convention on peace. India has always been a pace setter. You are ahead. This is the East, the land of the rising sun. You are ahead with culture and tradition and beauty and thought and ideas and philosophy. When I read once as a young boy the Bhagavad Gita and the Sanskrit, I was fascinated because it resonated with my African traditional roots. Humanity is one. Peace can be shared, but peace must be the work of justice. Globe Ethics promotes peace, and we'll be looking forward to continuing this conversation and working together with you for global peace and global justice for each and every human being on earth, because no one will lose if all agree, but everybody loses if one person disagrees. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Obiora, for the inspirational message. Peace and ethics are indeed the two virtues that are most required today. On that note, I am reminded of a quote by Mahatma Gandhi that says, "There is no path to peace. Peace is the path." Once again, I thank you, sir. Gratitude is the sign of noble souls. We have reached the end of this inaugural session, and we are very grateful to have you all here with us today. And to express this gratitude, I now invite Rotarian Dr. Sangeeta Jain, Secretary of the National Peace Movement and the Director of the Institute of Management Studies, Indore, to propose the vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Good evening, everyone. In these difficult times, what an uplifting session this has been. And I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. I am tasked with bringing this day to its conclusion and would like to take few moments to thank everyone who made it possible. First and foremost, our deepest gratitude is for Dr. Varghese Ellengarden, the President of National Peace Movement, Chairman of this convention, who tirelessly brings us all together to further this mission of peace every year. Father, you are an inspiration as always. Next, I would like to thank the inaugural session guest who made today's session really a memorable one. We are grateful to the chief guest of the inaugural session of 7th National and the first Global Peace Convention, our Rotarian Shekhar Mehta, Rotary International President 2122, for reminding us of Rotary's roots and reasons for existence. Rotarian Mehta has been a constant motivator during this year's activities, and we thank him for his constant encouragement and furthering of this mission. Sir, your presence has really elevated this convention to a higher level. Thank you, sir, on behalf of National Peace Movement and Rotary District 3040. Now, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our very own Mrs. Anuradha Shankar, the part of the family, IPS ADGP Bhopal, Additional Director General of Police Bhopal, for her keynote address. Madam, thank you for reminding us that even though this time is unprecedented, there are lessons to be learned from occasions when history presented us similar challenges. Madam, we always see in you the human face of policing, and your presence with us, as always, was very soothing and assuring. Thank you so much, Madam, for your words of wisdom. I extend my special thanks to our dynamic District Governor, 3040, Rotarian Gajendra Narang, for his constant support and guidance. And I personally congratulate him for converting this national convention to a global convention in this year 21-22. So it's proud moment for all the Rotarians, the members of National Peace Movement, and all other who have joined the efforts, because this is the seventh but first time we converted this into a global peace convention. So thank you so much, Dr. Gajendra Narang, our district governor. I would like to thank Mrs. Lavina Dsouza for bringing attention to one of the most important issues of our times. Yes, the empowerment of women. Lavina, we really thank you for connecting so beautifully the women empowerment with this mission of peace. And we really hope that next year, you physically, if your presence is there, then we'll be really delighted to host you in Indore or wherever we plan to have our next convention. Our another guest of the inaugural session, I would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to Professor Dr. Obiora IK for joining us all the way from Geneva, Switzerland, and talking about the big issues, really with special focus on ethics and global peace. Thank you so much, sir, for your active participation and enlightening all the delegates of this convention about other areas which were untouched upon, whether it's environment or maybe the ethics or the Gandhian way of bringing the peace. Thank you so much, sir, for your presence, because I can see you. That is why we're really happy to have you as a guest in our convention. Now, special thanks to the Aspire to Inspire family for their beautiful prayer song. And of course, the students of Carmel Convent School, Gwalior, students of Servet Convent School, Hoshangabad, for their wonderful dance performances. Really seeing all the students and they're preparing in this odd times, we really feel proud, and we think that, yes, you are playing the role of a peace ambassadors in this peace convention. So thank you to all the students and all the people who were involved with this effort, because we know that it's a team effort. Your teachers and your performance was really the contribution of your teachers, and the performances were great. And thank you everyone on behalf of the National Peace Movement. And how can I forget Dr. Paul Puvandikal and our own Rotarian C.L. Vakre ji, who started us off this evening with beautiful prayer songs and our Rotary's four-way test. So thank you, Dr. Vakre and Dr. Paul Puvandikal and your entire team for again bringing us your wonderful songs and prayers of peace. Our special thanks to Rotarian Colonel Mahendra Mishra, District Governor-elect Rotary District 3040, Rotarian Neetu Joshi, Rotarian Ashish Trivedi ji, Dr. Casey Thomas, Rotarian L. Swamy, for introducing us to the guest of the inaugural session of the 7th National and the 1st Global Peace Convention. I would also like to offer special thanks to the entire organizing committee and all the volunteers for working behind the scenes to make this challenge into an opportunity and expand horizons of the National Peace Convention internationally. Last but most importantly, I would like to thank all of you, the wonderful delegates who took time to join us today, and not only join, but remain there throughout in this mission of peace. Thank you on behalf of the National Peace Movement. Thank you, everyone. And we have some stimulating panels planned for tomorrow, and we hope to see you all again in these tiny Zoom windows. Until then, I wish you all the very best, and good night I'll say to all the peace ambassadors, good night, and thank you very much. Jai Rotary, Jai Jagat.
Thank you, ma'am, for the words of gratitude. Now, before we end this meeting, may we remind all the participants that we all meet again for the first panel session tomorrow at 10 a.m. It will be a youth panel on the topic Youth for Peace. We will have wonderful sharing by the youth members. We have a tradition of keeping the time spirituality, and so I request all the participants to join on time. Once again, thank you all and good night.